Hi there, welcome to Wyckoff Technical Analysis session for Hedera. So I have a new setup today, hope everything works smoothly. And if you're new to my sessions, here are the key takeaways you can expect from my sessions. So let's start with the weekly chart of Hedera. So across the board, things have been pretty violent over the past few days, many ups and downs, which are already shared in many sessions and even in community posts, that the more turbulent period of crypto is around. So for Hedera itself, here we can see for the past 4 weeks, including this week, basically it has been bouncing off between two lines. So the yellow dashed line, this resistance over here at around 19 cents 75, and also the white dashed line over here around 16 cents. And if we get to the daily chart, we'll see in detail what actually is happening. The red key level seems like only worked for last week, that's 70 cents 50. Other than that, for 3 weeks, within these 4 weeks, they seem to be acting within the two dash line instead of reacting towards the red. As of now, the bigger picture shows the price of Hedera is still trading within the upper half of this channel box. So let me pull this back to the top. So I was talking about here. So for the past 2 weeks, the price has been trading above this center line. Hi, Rotor H. Are we still going further down? Yeah, that's the thing I'm getting towards. So here, if the price continues to trade within this downward channel, obviously, like answering the question in the chat, that's the case. The trend is still going south. So one time point over here with a potential breakout is around sometime in mid-December. So if the price continues to trade sideways along these lines, certain time when the ceiling of the box crosses the red key level right there, or this white dashed line crosses the ceiling of the box, that's somewhere near the end of the year or right at the beginning of next year. These two are the key breakout time points, assuming the price is still within this range. However, if it drops further, excuse me, down towards the white solid line over here to show us a sign of strength, those 2 points won't be relevant. Okay, the price has to stay within this range for those 2 time points to be relevant. As of now, the downtrend continues, even though it's sideways. I explained many times for these channel boxes, like the bigger blue one and this like narrower downtrend, I also call them air hockey table, because the way you can picture this is the price bounces off across 3 lines. The ceiling, the center line, now it goes back to the ceiling, and then the bottom edge, and then bounces to the ceiling. So just like playing air hockey, I believe many of you know what it is. The price basically bounces between, just that the air hockey table doesn't have a center line. We do. Okay, so that's the big picture. Assuming it's bouncing off, and it's no surprise for it to come down to the white line before it charges up again in order to break the downward channel. So let me quickly take a look. So this white solid line, if you ask, is the ceiling of the long-term playground zone. What that is essentially, since 2019, for about 80% of the time, depending on the asset, the price will be traded within the long-term playground zone, and the tendency of it coming down to retest this support line, it still remains. So that's this, I'm not adjusting the probability for sign of weakness, and this second test likewise, it will still be at a lower chance as the trend continues. If we look at the volume itself, you see that volume bar last week combines both buying and selling. So that selling from the ceiling of the box was very strong. This week, even though there were some buying from the white dashed line, the volume isn't that much as of now compared to that on the week of October 6th. So for the remaining 2 days and 7 hours for this week's candle, we'll have to see how far it's going to go. Is it going to climb back above the red key level? So, keeping this mid-December time point relevant, or is it going to go somewhere else? By the way, you were spot on with the secret token. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, the secret I noticed, it's lower. It reacted later than ICP, but it popped. Thank you. And now we get to the daily chart. Here, last time we talked about, for Hedera heading towards the selling climax in the daily Wyckoff. So it's different stage compared to the weekly. Weekly is heading towards a sign of weakness, but daily, essentially we are seeing potential, getting into a new accumulation cycle. Even though we've got some price climb, in the title I said there's a declining top trend going on. So this is where it is. For the past 4 days, including today, we are seeing this lower top. So let me enlarge this further. So if you're watching on a mobile device, it will be easier. Unfortunately, because I'm going beyond the scale of the bar, so I can't use auto. So here, you see the declining trend, right? If this continues, similarly to what I mentioned in the weekly chart, let me adjust slightly. Yeah, so if the price continued to trade within this triangle, then over here, by the time we get to November 14th, exactly 1 week from now, so any time from now till 7 days later, there would be a potential breakout. Well, breaking outside of this isn't much of a big deal because it's still within this. You see the channel box, right? Let me use auto this time and zoom out. So you see the blue lines, right? So that means even if it breaks, it's going to still head towards either the ceiling or the bottom of the box. So it's not much of a surprise, compared to breaking outside of the channel box. So here, what indication this breakout would give us? The upside we already talked about, nothing surprising. We expect the price to bounce between these three lines, so that's something normal. Breaking towards the downside, however, it's more important to us because it's a signal that it may head towards the selling climax eventually, or finally, after trading above this line since October 10th. Okay, so almost a month now from the tariff announcement. Time flies, right? It feels to me it just happened last week, but we have passed almost 4 weeks now. Here, the thing is, we've got 1, twice, 3 times thrice, or four times, combining roughly about 10 days, that this line has been challenged. But previously, within a very short period, the next day after this line has been challenged, the price basically bounces. This time is a little bit different. First 2 days challenge, okay, the price got pushed back up. The third day closed pretty close to the line, and today we've got a little bit of rebound. However, the peak is, like I said, continuously lower. So whether or not this time, when the price comes closer to this triangle, the tip of the triangle, it's going to come down. The likelihood is getting bigger. I'm not sure whether I'm going to once again nail this again. It looks to me it's trying to come down to show us the selling climax just by seeing what happened over the past 3-4 days. Combining the volume as well, the volume is declining. So the confidence seems not as strong as the other altcoins that's been popping over the past few days. Hey, thanks, Bish Gopal. Am I pronouncing it correctly? So yeah, that's the daily chart is telling us. So selling climax is still the more favorable direction. Second test, lower chance. And one thing I haven't talked to you during this session, the Bollinger Band corner squeeze. As of now, the purple lines are getting into the orange very soon. I would consider today as the beginning of a squeeze. So after a squeeze, price tends to swing more wild. Okay, you see this shade at the back, right? And then the other shade right over here. The price tends to swing after it. Whether it goes down first or goes up first, it doesn't matter. That's what not the indicator is telling us. It doesn't tell us which direction goes first. It's just telling us bigger price move is coming. And in the weekly, we saw a very narrow squeeze back in June, but then the swing still continues. It's basically, I would see this as a continuation of the swing that started November last year, because these swings tend to start bigger first, and then they eventually die down just to get into another squeeze. And as of now, in the weekly chart, the purple line at the bottom has got into the orange this week. Okay, the top one is coming down as well. So in the weekly chart, we are going to see another squeeze probably in a few weeks' time, and that's when another potential swing is going to come. So I hope everything works out for the new setup today. The camera at least is clearer, but then the lighting looks a little bit different. So thanks for joining me for Hedera today, and thanks for all your comments. Solana video. So Solana, I usually do it on Saturday. That means tomorrow. So you can find the latest schedule on the community post. So I usually, if I made any changes, I'll post there. But if I haven't, the latest one containing the time and the roster will be the schedule I follow. So and also every month I'll review that roster. So if there are more views and engagement, if people like it or comment a lot, I'll put that into a regular roster. Otherwise, I'll put it on a rotating roster, like for some of the coins that you mentioned, like Secret, or some people like me to talk about WorldCoin or other coins, or some meme coins like Pepe or Ship. Those are in a rotating roster. So once a week, among the 5 days I go live, on every Monday, I put that into a rotating roster. So every 2 to 3 weeks, I'll cover those that with lower engagement. Thanks for joining. I'm moving on to the next session. See you over there.